Hi, and welcome to WorkPro. My name is Tanya Evans, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar on how to administer license tickets and documents within the WorkPro platform. So logging into the platform as an administrator. So if you're new to WorkPro, you should by now have an administrator username and a password, and you may or may not have had a play with the system. For those on the webinar who have been using WorkPro for quite a long time, I guess this is an opportunity to perhaps refamiliarise yourself with some tips and hints on how to use our licensing and ticket management platform. So you'll see over here from the administrator dashboard, you can see here there's the licenses area and here is the documents area. So I'm going to treat these two as two separate modules for today's webinar. So concentrating on the licenses area, we've worked very safely. We've worked really closely with the safety authorities to define or to provide us with a list of the most common licenses and tickets that someone should hold or is required to hold under legal obligations as part of their employment. And then we've worked with our customers and also some national regulators to also provide you with a list of that you can choose from of certain licenses and tickets that you would like an individual to upload and for you to monitor as part of their employment. So WorkPro offers this module whereby you can pick from a drop-down list certain licenses and tickets that you need someone to upload and you need to monitor for currency. So this system doesn't validate the license. We are just in the business of allowing you to request someone to upload it, for them to upload a copy of it and all the details that relate to it, and for our system to then alert you as those tickets and licenses are coming due for renewal. So I'm just going to concentrate on the licenses and tickets area. So the first thing you're going to do is you need to send a request to a candidate or a whole bunch of candidates at once for them to upload certain licenses and tickets. So entering the candidate's name and their email address, and clicking on here, the licenses and tickets, and I just mentioned that we've worked with the safety authorities and various regulators to provision a list of the most common licenses and tickets that need to be held for employment purposes. So you're basically choosing from this list. So let's look at driver's licenses, the most fundamental, and you'll see here there's the class with its driver's license. So let's have a look at this. In some cases, there may be a subclass as well. So let's look at a bulldozer. And let's look at a front end, and let's look at what would be a boom operator. So you can see here, there's a driver's license, and there's also these other licenses that need to be uploaded. Driver's and heavy vehicle license. So it's a heavy rigid, and under heavy rigid, a construction vehicle, and a multi-combi. All right, so you can see here there's a heavy licenses and the driver's license that we need someone to upload, and we might want a high-risk work license. So looking at, for example, looking at a forklift. All right, so you can see here these are the collection of licenses and tickets. Just having shown you here the most common licenses and tickets. So you're picking and choosing. If that license is not available from the drop-down list, you can also add a license that isn't listed. So feel free to add this as a free text field. If I was to enter testing here, and you can see it's populated in the list that's going to be sent to the candidate. So sending the request to the individual. Once you've sent the request to an individual, they'll receive an email which contains a live link and a single-use token. So clicking on track request, you can see here you're tracking the request through the platform. So you can see my name, you can see the single-use token, which I'll just grab here. And if I was to view, what did I ask Tanya to complete? And there's all of the licenses that she's been requested to upload. Once you've sent the request from the system now takes over and automates alerts if tasks remain outstanding. And that is all of the tasks. So if Tanya logged into the platform, which I'll do in a moment, and she completed some of those tasks, but her driver's license remained outstanding, Our system will start alerting Tanya that a task remains outstanding and encouraging her to log into the platform to complete them, to complete all of those tasks. Our system sends 3 reminders 5 days apart. So you've sent the request to Tanya, and now she needs to log out. So you're logging out, and she's now logging in, and she's signing up to complete their requirements. Email address. Oops. Mobile number and the password. Now, WorkPro works on any device. So I'm on a laptop, but it works on a mobile, iPad, Android, Apple, and signing up. And I have a WorkPro profile. Let's try that one. Right, and inviting me to enter the token that's been received in the email request. And you can see here I've got 9 things that I need to complete. So first of all, the Fair Work statement. And now moving on to my licenses and tickets. So there's a whole bunch of licenses and tickets. I've been requested to provide 8 licenses, and my role is to simply click add. So I've been requested the driver's license, it's a bulldozer, entering my ticket number, the state where it was issued, any restrictions, any conditions. These are both free field. Importantly is the expiry date. That's what you're trying to track through our platform. And then uploading the copy both back and front. And simply clicking save. So you can see now that I have 1 license stored. There's my driver's license type. You can see here there is the thumbnail of the image. You can see the number, the state, the effective date, and importantly the expiry date. So I would just go through here and I would simply keep adding, and it would be stored in my digital profile. Once the candidate has completed these tasks, they can just simply log out of the platform. As an administrator, you will have received email alerts letting you know that there's licenses that have been uploaded, and your responsibility is to log into the platform and view that license, make sure all is in order, and then acknowledge that the license has been uploaded. So logging back into the platform. Now you can find Tanya in several different ways, or in this case, sorry, Testing Tony. So if Testing Tony was a brand new candidate, it would be likely that this profile will be sitting at the top of your dashboard. If Tony has, or Testing has completed WorkPro for another company that is subscriber to the WorkPro service, and they apply for a role with you, ask Testing whether they have a WorkPro profile or if they've used WorkPro in the past, and they will have been provided a CIN, which is a candidate identification number, which is unique to each individual. You can either search Tony up here, entering that, Testing here, entering Tony as the surname here, and searching the WorkPro database. So nearly 3 million people have a digital WorkPro profile, so it might be worth you asking if Tony's new to your organisation, whether he has a WorkPro profile, logging in, and you can view his licenses that he has uploaded to his profile here. In this case, you've sent the request to Testing. He's uploaded, in this case, a driver's license. You can see here the license. You can see the expiry date here. If I wanted to view Testing's information, click View, Licenses and Tickets, and just as I showed you in the candidate's digital profile, there it is here. This is the state. I might click on this and want to have a look. Yes, that's Tony. Yes, that's Tony, or Testing rather. That's the information. I can also verify. If I click on Verify, that might produce, or would produce, evidence that you, on this date, on the 22nd of the 10th, logged in, viewed Testing's licenses that he had uploaded, and that is your evidence should you need it. From a document management point of view, or actually, sorry, just sticking with licenses and tickets, as that license is coming due for renewal, the candidate will receive email alert 90, 60 and 30 days out, warning them that they have a license that is coming due for renewal, and actively encourage them to make sure that if they are still employed for that role and they're still using that ticket or that license, that they make sure that it's renewed in good time. Importantly, from a compliance point of view, it's your responsibility to make sure that anyone who is employed by you has a current license or ticket. So you can also expect to receive emails letting you know that these expiries are occurring 90, 60 and 30 days out. If that person no longer works for you, you might want to archive their profile, in which case you can click on this icon here and click expire. If you wanted to, you can also use the filtering function, clicking on licenses and tickets. This is an easy way to view, show me all of those licenses and tickets that are coming due for renewal in the next 30 to 60 days or 60 to 30 days. In this case, you can see on here, these are the only ones that are coming up, and these are actually expired. So it will show you those that are expired plus those coming due for renewal. So in this case, you would simply send Ron a new request and make sure, or you might call Ron and make sure that any licenses that he has as part of his employment with you, that he's uploading the most current one. So you would send him a new request. I'm just going to clear that filter, and I just want to move on very quickly to document management, which is slightly different to licenses and tickets management, in that unlike licenses and tickets where we've worked with the safety authorities and the regulators to kind of list out the most common licenses and tickets and accreditations, you might want to collect some documents that are not, somewhere in between a license and an accreditation, or something that you've delivered to your workforce that you would like to manage for compliance purposes or track for currency purposes. So in this case, we're giving you the freedom to define certain documents that you would like to manage through the WorkPro platform. So clicking on plus, we're inviting you to name. So in this case, let's just call it a first aid certificate. So you want to track first aid certificates through this platform. So clicking save, you're coming down here and you're saying which information do you want displayed on the dashboard. So logically, you would want the expiry date to be viewable on that dashboard. So yes, in this case, if you wanted to click, I also want to have displayed to me on the dashboard the issue date, the date that the first aid certificate was issued. You can also customize fields. You might want to add additional information. So you might want to collect from the person, for example, the first aid certificate number. You're freely adding this information, and in this case, it's a text type. Yes, I want to make it mandatory. You can make it non-mandatory if you want to, but yes, in this case. And do you want to have all of your sites? So if you have more than one site built within the WorkPro platform, you can say, I want all of my sites to have access to request someone to upload their first aid certificate. So once you've done that, click save and close. Now, if you want someone to upload that document as part of a request, you send a request to a new candidate, clicking continue, and much like the licenses and tickets, this would be your drop-down list. So the reason I'm saying this is just because this is an example site of WorkPro, but you would be only seeing your first aid certificate. There we go. There's the first aid certificate that you defined in your list, and you want to now send that request, entering the candidate's name, their email address, and sending the request to the individual. So you can create as many documents as you need within the WorkPro platform. It's completely at your discretion. In order to manage all of your documents, you click here. You would have a look. In this case, the ARPA registration. This is one that was prepared earlier. And this is how you edit your document. So you can delete them, you can edit them, you can add information to it. And like I said, you can have as many documents as you would like displayed. And that means that you've got complete control over what you're sending, why, when, and how. From a compliance point of view, much like the licenses and tickets area, if you have an expiry on a document, you can expect to receive alerts that that document is coming due for expiry 90, 60 and 30 days out from that expiry. And equally, if a candidate has uploaded a document that's been requested of them, they will also receive that alert. You can turn those alerts off, and if I show you very quickly, just go to the filtering function. Let me go and look for some documents. Let's just see if I've got any documents that's applied. Here we go. I can view this document. So clicking on document, and under this little reminder here, I can say, I don't want to receive alerts about this document. I simply want it stored. So that could be the case that there's no expiry, or that person doesn't work for you anymore, or that person does work for you, but that document's no longer important. So it may have an expiry date on it, but you're not interested in receiving the alert. So that concludes today's webinar on license and tickets and document administration. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, 1300 975 776, or emailing info@workpro.com.au, or contacting your account manager should you have one. Thanks so much for joining me. This webinar has actually been recorded, so if you need it for the future, you can always find it in our webinars list once you're logged into the portal. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time.